Hi everyone. So I did the learning kit with the vinyl yesterday, and today I'm going to do the paper one, and I'm so excited because I love paper. So I'm going to show you guys, here's the paper learning kit. On the back it's going to show us we are going to get smart paper sticker cardstock. I told you that's one of my absolute favorite materials, and I hope we get to use it a lot today. You get white, cardinal red, yellow, and cornflower, which is a blue color. For cardstock, you get 10 12 by 12 sheets: black, white, red, tangerine, true yellow, bright green, dark teal, cornflower blue, wild aster, which is like a purple, and light pink. You get 4 R20 insert cards. You get tulip, powder blue, whispering blue, and lavender. 4 inserts, which are a silver holographic. It's so pretty. And then you get 4 envelopes to go with it. You get a 0.4 millimeter fine point black pen and a 0.8 millimeter glitter gel pen in silver. The glitter pens are so pretty. Okay, so for mats, we get a light grip machine mat, which is for your cardstock, and that's my probably most used mat. I'm just ordered more. And a 2x2 Cricut card mat, which is my favorite. Okay, for tools, we're going to get the spatula to lift cuts from our mat. We are going to get a weeder to remove tiny cuts, the scoring stylus to create fold lines, and the scraper to remove scraps from your mat, or burnish, as we learned with the vinyl. Okay, so again, I have not, this is like open here, but I have not opened this. I don't know what's in it. I have not looked at the learning plan. We are learning everything together. I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to pull up Design Space. Okay, now if you didn't watch my other video, just in case, we're going to go over everything again. So we're in Design Space. Our learning plan can be found here, and it can be found under our hamburger menu here, right here. And you must be in the United States to see it. Now, while the materials are mostly smart materials and only for the Maker 3 and Explore 3, if you change your machine family, like to the Cricut Joy, the learning plan is still there so you can view it, but you just might not be able to cut everything, or you might have to change the sizing and the materials and stuff, so the learning kit may not work for you. Now the smart materials can be cut down and used on a mat in any of the machines. Just keep that in mind. You can only go matless with the Explorer 3 and Maker 3, but the learning plan will show for everyone. So even if you want to go through the learning plan and just look at it and see what it's all about, you can do that. We're going to click Learning Plan. Again, view all of the basics if you would like, and we're going to click Paper. So if you do not have the learning kit, there is a shop link. You can click that and we'll bring you right to the shop to purchase it. Okay, so quick intro to paper. So again, I'm not going to watch this video. We'll kind of scrub through it quickly. You can see it shows you what comes in the kit, how to find the learning plan, basically an overview of stuff, and it just shows you some pretty paper projects. So we'll click Done. Cut a simple 3D paper project. Resize an image and cut a simple spectacular paper crown with cardstock. Okay, that's what we're going to do first. So we need, it's going to show us again what we'll learn, what you'll need. Explore 3, Maker 3, 1 sheet of cardstock, our blue mat, a brayer. If you have one, I have 2, so we will definitely use that. It's a brand new mat, so it should be sticky enough, but I love my brayer. Okay, so if we're going to read each step and click the arrow. So in this lesson, we'll resize an image to create a tiny paper crown, perhaps for your royal pet, made from cardstock. Start by clicking on the crown. Okay, so as we learned in the first one, you can do all of this with the learning plan in the back, and if it's in your way, you can minimize it, maximize it, minimize it, maximize it. Okay, so click and drag any corner to grow or shrink the image. Notice the measurements change. The size should be around 9 inches by 3.7 inches. It doesn't need to be exact. So I'm going to click this here, 9 by 3.7 roughly, so you can see, I don't know if I can click at the same time, but you can see 9 by 3.7. Right above the crown, there's that little black box, and it's showing me in real time how my measurements are changing, because it doesn't show me in real time up at the top where you can change your measurements. Okay, so see right above here, it's showing it to you. That showed me in real time. Up here is where we would change it manually. Okay, so we're going to click next. So the cardstock does require a mat, so we will use a mat this time. We will continue. We are going to choose the medium cardstock option. And then, great job getting prepared. So confirm that the fine point blade is in your clamp. We know that it is. Remove the protective cover from your mat. Set it aside somewhere where you're not going to lose it. I know it's clear. Some people will put like a sticker on the top. They'll write on the top so they don't lose it. I have a specific place in my craft room that I put it so I never lose it. You can slide it under your mat, whatever you want to do. Then from top left corner, position your cardstock on mat. Use your brayer or clean dry hands to gently smooth your material. Using both hands, insert mat under guides, then press flashing load unload button. You also want to make sure you're nudging your mat a little bit. Now, with the Maker 3 and the Explorer 3, it is going to pull your mat in and measure it and pull it out, but still make sure you nudge your mat a little bit so it loads properly and doesn't cut above your mat or your paper. Okay, so you're ready to cut, so we're going to press go. Once it's complete, we'll unload it. So instead of pulling the final cut off the mat, always bend the mat away from your cuts. This quickly lifts the cut design from the mat, preventing tears and curling. It's a great tip. This is an excellent tip. I do not roll my mat like that. I'll show you what I do when we actually make our cut, but that's exactly what I do, and that prevents, I do it with all materials, vinyl, iron-on, whatever it is. I do that because it prevents it from curling. We're going to click next. Put your plastic cover back on right away so that you don't lose it, or if you have pets or like me, I have really long hair, nothing gets on it. Okay, attach the ends of the crown by inserting the tab into the slit. We're going to do that all live, so don't worry about it if you can't see it in this video. I mean, I think you can see it easily, but just in case you can't. Ta-da, you're done. You resized an image and worked with cardstock to make a custom crown. To secure it on your royal pet, you can loop a string through the holes. You can see those little like holes here. Okay, so continue. I'm going to give that 5 stars and minimize this while we make our cut. So I'm going to click make it. I'm going to choose on a mat. And then I'm going to continue. It's going to find my machine. I'm going to choose medium cardstock, which should already be in my favorite settings because it's one I use the most. It is. And if you don't have it, browse all materials is where you'll go. And you can go to categories, cardstock, and help narrow it down and find it easy. It might take a second to populate it, but there you go. And then I'm going to add more pressure. Make sure I have medium cardstock selected. Yep, I do. And then more pressure. So I can see up here, medium cardstock. More pressure. Okay, so we're going to go over to my camera and we're going to open up the learning kit, see what's in it, and then we will then we'll start our cut. Okay, so already open at the top here. This just pulls off like we did with our vinyl kit. Toss that aside. I'm going to use my favorite little scissors to cut that open. I'm going to pull this tab out. Oh, goodness. Guys, I'm just having all the struggles today. This is a good day to shoot tutorials, huh? I think it's good. I hope you're learning. I hope you're like, oh, she's a hot mess like me, and it makes you feel better. Okay, so your quick start guide just directs you where to go. I already did that, so you don't really need it. Here are your insert cards with these tabs fold back if you need to. Pull it out easily. Okay, so that we don't need. So your insert cards, your inserts, and then your envelopes all here. So we're just going to set this aside until we need it. Then weeding tool, which has, again, that protective cover on it. So you're going to make sure you take it off before you use it if you need it. Your little spatula if you need it. Your scoring stylus, which I assume we will need. Scoring stylus I love. Now, because the Maker 3 has a scoring wheel that you can use, we will need to edit our tools to use the stylus, and I will show you how to do that. It's very easy. And then we have our pens and our little spatula. I have like 50 of these things. They're the best. I love them. All right, so we're going to take this out. And once again, we have the materials cheat sheet that you can download the PDF for at learn.cricut.com. These are fantastic. Highly recommend. Okay, so you have your cardstock, your smart paper sticker cardstock, your blue mat, and your card mat. So I'm going to pull out my mat and the cardstock, and we're going to set this box aside until we need everything else in it. Okay, so I know we had a yellowish color for our crown, so we're going to pull that out. And these are, you can see there's like a little band. I didn't show you in the vinyl tutorial, but there's a little band on here that you can take off. But these pull out really nicely, so I can still keep everything nice and neatly organized while I'm making a giant mess showing you guys everything. Okay, so pull the mat off. Again, designated spot for me in my craft room. Line it up. Now you're going to notice Cricut cardstock is textured on one side and smooth on the other side. I don't know. Let's see if I pull my Bright 360 closer if you guys can see that. Yeah. So it's more textured on this side. I put the smooth side up. I feel like it gets a better cut that way. I'm going to line it up on the edges of our mat. Now, I always start in the top corner and I line up across the top and the bottom. Okay. I'm going to show you guys quickly. This is what the brayer is. That's what it's talking about. And this just helps smooth your material out. I use it for all of my materials. All of them. Every single one. It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite tools. I got it, let's see, when I got, whoops, remember earlier when I told you we got to move it? I forgot. My wall reminded us. But see, there you go. Learning. I got the brayer, I want to say when I got my first maker machine, I got a bundle. And I ended up going with the sewing bundle because I sew and it had extra pink mats for fabric. And I didn't have any of those. And the other bundles had a lot of stuff I already had because I had an Explore Air machine. So when I got my maker, it came with the brayer, and I was like, oh, like, what do you do with this? And I looked it up, and I was like, oh, this is cool, and it's amazing, and I literally use it for all of my materials. I do not know how people live without it. I know that seems a little dramatic, but it is a really awesome tool, especially as your mats get a little bit older, and they get a little bit they get a little less sticky. I clean my mats with an alcohol-free baby wipe when they get dirty. Not always, just when they get dirty. And I'm going to push this back so I have room to work. Let's hope I remember to pull it back again. But I do alcohol-free baby wipes when they're dirty, but eventually they're going to lose their sticky. They are consumable. So I do use my brayer to get as much use out of my mats as I can. Okay, so we're going to flip it over. I start usually where my cut was not, and I'm pushing down. I know it's hard to see. I'm pushing down on that cardstock as I move the mat. And then for my design here, I'm going to kind of roll my mat until it pops up, and then I'm going to slowly work my material off of the mat. And you can see it didn't curl or any of that. Now you can see I have these two little dots on here. That's where you can use your scraper to get them off. You can use your spatula to get them off. I have long fingernails and these are tiny, so I just pull them off like that and throw them in the trash. But the spatula and the scraper tool are both there to help you with that if you need it. This is going to get set aside. Now I cut it texture side down so that I got a smoother cut, but this will work either way that you fold it, so it doesn't matter. So we have that slit there, you see? So we're just going to stick one side in, maneuver that other side in, line it up, and we're done. That's so cute, guys. I'm actually not going to leave it up there because I'm afraid it's going to fall while I'm cutting. That would be my luck. Okay. Let's go back into Design Space and see what we have next. Okay, we'll pull that up, exit our learning plan, and we'll go down to paper. Now you can see if I go up to the vinyl, all of my lessons are checked, like it saves all that information for you. Okay, lesson, work with text and fonts. Edit text, select a font, cut a personalized gift tag using cardstock. Ooh, I love gift tags, and it's perfect this time of year. Okay, so we will need a sheet of cardstock. Everything's like the same, okay? So just go through everything if you're not sure, but the learning kit comes with everything that you need outside of your blanks, so you shouldn't need anything else. Okay, we're going to start our lesson. In this lesson, we'll work with text and fonts to create a custom gift tag. We pre-populated the canvas with the design. First, edit the name to any name you'd like. Let's see, I'm just going to put my name to make it easier. I can't spell my name. Okay. To preview fonts, use the font drop-down. The Cricut library includes hundreds of fonts. Many are free. Others require a Cricut Access subscription. We'll use a free font. Now, I'm going to show you guys how to filter to free fonts when we pick the font, but I know it's going to tell us a free one. So we'll go to next. Signa Stencil is the name of a font that works great for paper projects. Use the search bar to find it and select it. Okay, so we're going to go up to the font. Pull it up here. We're going to minimize our little learning plan first. I didn't realize it was going to be in the way. Okay, so now you can go, we have to can I move this? Yep, okay, so I can move this too. So if you find it's in your way, you can move it. I'm glad we're learning this like partway through our second one. Okay, so uncheck current, go over to filters, and you can search to free. And then since it's a shorter list, we can just go down to Signa Stencil. And we'll select that. Now it's changed. We can see that it's changed. And we'll bring the learning plan back up and move it back over. With the tag selected, select the color swatch. Then use the color picker to match the cardstock you want to use for your gift tag. Let's see. Now notice I selected the tag and not the wording. Let's see what our color options are. I'm going to use green. That's Christmassy. And it's almost Christmas time, so it's perfect. Okay, so then, it did tell you down here, select the gift tag and change color. So make sure you have just the tag selected. You can see the bounding box, but also double check in your layers panel. So I changed that. So you need to ensure your design cuts the way it appears on the canvas. To do this, press and hold the Command or Shift key, select the text box, and then the gift tag. So we did this in the vinyl one, but in case you haven't watched the vinyl one, I'm going to go over this with you guys again and give you a few tips. So click attach. This is what locks selected design elements in place. These two objects will now move and cut together. So you're going to notice they turn the same color. If you are in Design Space using attach and you have multiple colors, you need to attach like colors to hold them into place. Okay? But we're only using one color. So we're going to click the gift tag. See, in my layers panel, that's the only thing selected. And then holding the shift key on my keyboard, I can click the words, and you can see that also highlighted. Another way to do it, click in your layers panel, shift key, and click everything in your layers panel. Or you can drag and drop your, or you can drag and make a box around both of them, and it will select them both. You can see in your layers panel that it did that. If you are on a mobile device, you use your finger to create that box and to select multiples. Open the layers panel and press and hold for like a couple seconds for each one as they highlight, or you can press and hold on your canvas. Okay, we're going to click attach, and you can see that attached because it tells us right up there it's attached. Okay, next. Now we're ready to make it on a mat. Continue. Medium cardstock again. Okay, it's going to show us how to apply our cardstock to the mat, how to load it, go, unload it, how to remove your design from the mat. Any remnants you can use. This is see how she's using the scraper, or you can use the spatula to remove those like I did with my fingernails, but this has more, so we'll do something different. I'll show you guys. You're done. Okay, I'm gonna rate this, click done, minimize it, and we're going to make it. Okay, so we are on a mat. This says check out, but I'm not sure why. It says it's not for sale. Okay. It looks like the gift tag is no longer an image option. So what we'll do is we'll cancel this. We'll go into images and we're just going to type in tag. I'm not even going to bother trying to find a free one. There might be some free ones. I'm just going to do this really quickly to switch it around. So this is 4 inches and I'm going to rotate it. I'm not going to really walk you through this because this is a little bit of improving it. And now for the gift tag here, I can detach it and just take my my words, go to arrange since it's behind there, and bring to front. This I'm just going to delete because I don't want it on my canvas. It will cause the same issue when I go to check out. So I have both selected here, and I'm going to go up to align, and I'm just going to center. That will perfectly center horizontally and vertically, and then I'm going to click attach and then make it. So I know it's a little bit of improv we did there, but we're making it work. Okay, so it's going to find my machine, pick medium cardstock. I'm adding more pressure for my machine. And something I didn't mention in the vinyl one, and that it's now taken me at this point like 20 minutes to think about. When doing any new material, always do a test cut. A test cut will show you how your material cuts and let you know if it's going to work well. So I usually do like a 1/2 inch shape, usually a circle. Remember, textured side, smooth side. I usually do a circle, but you can also do a square if it's a smaller design that you're going to be cutting out of that material, because those sharper corners, it's going to tell you how well it's going to cut. So I remembered, bring my machine up. We are going to load it, and we'll press go while it cuts. Now for me to remove my cuts from my my mat, it's going to have, this is why we used a stencil font. I am not great with my words today, guys, I'm sorry. The reason we used a stencil font is because it is going to keep all of those pieces in the gift tag without us having to like take all the little pieces and glue them down, which I know anyone who does paper crafting loves. It's your favorite thing ever. But if you, this stencil font is going to keep that all in place. So those that are left on the mat, yes, I can peel them off with my fingernail, but because there are a few more designs, I will probably use this scraper. The spatula works well too. I'm just used to using the scraper if I have to. And you guys, like I said, anything that you do, I recommend trying both ways. What do you like best? That is really the only way you're going to know how things work for you. And that's just, a lot of it's trial and error, a lot of it's practice, a lot of it is just watching different videos, seeing different techniques, and being like, oh, like that's what I think I like. And sometimes you'll do it and you'll be like, turns out I did not like that. And sometimes you'll do it and you'll be like, oh, I love this, or you like it more than you thought. But that's why I recommend trying out different ways, because it is going to show you what you like most. And that's, I mean, what I always tell my kids, it's the only way you're going to learn. So, okay. So you can see that some of mine didn't cut out all the way. So we'll just go through. I'm just going to set those aside. It's okay that I ripped a little bit on the back because it's the back of my cardstock. So no one's going to see that part. And if you do rip it too much, you can always add like cut the same shape solid and just do that on the back. Now, here's my weeding tool. We'll take that protective cover off. But the weeding tool is great too for like those tiny little areas. You can kind of poke them through to the back for you, and then you go back and now they're like already through. You can grab them off. Okay, so this is a great little project for this time of year because it's almost Christmas, and then look, there's no gluing, there's no, we did a little bit of weeding, but that's just me. But you can see there's no gluing. Like you could just go through, put everybody's names down, and click, 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 and cut, 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 and you're done. Perfect. And then I personally would add just a solid color behind that because I think it's really cute. That would require either some glue or like a stickery back. This is why I would do, honestly, I'd do this out of the Smart Paper sticker cardstock, and then you can just slap it on the present and you're done. That's why it's my favorite, because it's already adhesive on the back. But for this, I would probably add a backing personally. Okay, so my scraper tool, and we're just going to start on the inside and go towards the edge. And I just take everything and it goes into my trash. Okay, and now we are ready to go back to Design Space and our next lesson. Okay, done. Pull up that learning plan, exit to learning plan. Oh, I accidentally clicked the sale. That's not what I want to do. Exit to learning plan. Okay, we'll go back down to our paper, and we're going to combine images to create your own sea creature cutouts. So cute. Okay, so we're using regular cardstock and our blue mat. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do today. In this lesson, we'll combine images to create 2 paper cutouts. We pre-populated the canvas with 4 images: a shark, eyes and mouth, whale, and fish. Start by selecting the eyes and mouth. Now, if you did the vinyl lesson with me, you've already seen this. If not, we're going to do it again. Okay, drag the eyes and mouth to the shark silhouette so it looks like what's pictured above. So you can see they moved it to the shark on the left. So I'm going to slide the learning plan over here, and we're going to do this in real time. Okay, so now to line this up, I'm mostly using this little one right here because that one you can see is more aligned with that part, whereas this isn't as aligned. So just use whatever works for you. Okay, we positioned the eyes and the mouth. To create the shark's face, let's remove the eyes and mouth from the shark silhouette. Press and hold the Command or Shift key and select the eyes and the mouth with the shark body. Now, we already did that in our previous step where we used the Shift key, or you can make your drag your mouse and do your box. So I'm not going to go over that again. Then we're going to use the Subtract tool. So we'll do this quickly. Confirm in your layers panel over here that that's all you have selected, just those 2 layers. Then we're going to go to Combine and Subtract. Okay, and now those pieces are gone for us. So next, we are going to move to the fish, closer to the whale. So we're going to select the fish, center the fish below the fins of the whale. It should look like what's pictured above. So we'll move the learning plan now to the left, and we're going to move the fish down here. Now, this is really eyeballing it. You just want to make sure that they're touching enough because I know what's coming next. So you just want to make sure they're touching. We're going to go to next. So we're going to select both. Command Shift, drag your box, however you want to do it. And then we're going to unite, combine, and unite. Okay, so now it should look something like this, and then we're ready to go. So I'm going to minimize this quickly, and I'm going to, whoops, sometimes my mouse trackpad gets a little sticky. I'm going to size this down just a little bit so they're not too big. Okay, so we're going to make it on a mat, continue, medium cardstock. Okay, we're going to apply our cardstock to our mat, we're going to load it, we're going to cut it, we're going to unload it, pull our materials off the mat. If we're going to use our scraper to remove any remnants, things are going swimmingly. You combined images to create these sea creature cutouts using cardstock to make them into puppets, glue popsicle sticks to the back side. Okay, so we are going to click Make It on a mat. So you can see how it switched the position of them around to save material. We're going to click Continue. Find my machine, medium cardstock. I am adding more pressure like I usually do. Medium cardstock, more pressure. Okay, and we will go back to my camera. Okay. I'm going to use this darker blue paper, smooth side up on my mat, textured side down on my mat. Tools out of the way. We're going to move my machine closer to me. See how I won't make that mistake again? I need my blue mats. Okay, so I can't remember if I said it in this one or if it was the vinyl one, but I keep all of my tools in my tool holder over on my machine. I do have a black pen that I keep in here too because it's my most used one. Store pens tip down, but I have all sorts of stuff. While these cut, I'll show you. The scissors, I told you guys I have a million pairs of my favorite. The True Control knife, and this, I have the True Control weeding toolkit. I have like 6 of those. No, I have like 20 of those. But this is my favorite weeding tip, that straight pin. But it comes with, let me see if I can slide in here quickly. The weeding toolkit comes with this weeding tip, the one I use, and then the True Control knife like tip. So you can swap the tips out. It's my favorite, and I also recommend it. That way you can figure out which weeding tool you like. There's also a weeding toolkit. Cricut sells. Let me see if I have it. I do. So the weeding toolkit here. So this has several different tips as well. Actually, it looks like 2 different types of tweezers and then the same tips that come in the weeding toolkit. So either way you can't go wrong, but I recommend either one of those kits for weeding to see what weeding tool you like best. And then I have my scoring wheel and all sorts of other stuff. Okay, so if you didn't know, there's storage under here. This is where I store my extra blades, weeding toolkit, scissors, all my fun stuff. Okay. So we will remove these. And a lot of times, if you're noticing, I will remove my excess material first. Typically paper, obviously, because vinyl and iron-on will come off as one piece. And then I'll go back and I'll remove my cuts. I don't know why I do that. I just do. It's preference. There's nothing, like there's no right or wrong. Okay, again, these, I know they use the scraper. These are big enough, and there's only a few, so fingernails it is. Okay, and you can see I had my, the little eye here and the fish didn't come off. It didn't stick on my mat, so we'll take that weeding, punch it right out, and then same with the shark. We'll just punch it right out. Well, actually for this, we're going to make sure we don't tear our design. His eye will punch out. Okay, and now we have these cute little sea creatures. They are really cute. All right, now let us see what is next. Done. We'll pull up our learning plan, exit to learning plan. Okay, let's see. So we have 3 more. So we're going to work with layers, score and write, and then make an insert card. So next we're going to work with layers. We're going to work with multiple layers to cut and assemble a stunning paper creation, which layered cardstock, honestly, it's like unbeatable. Like, it's just so, it looks so nice. 1 sheet of cardstock, 2 sheets of smart paper sticker cardstock, and then our mat for our cardstock. Okay, so we're going to begin. We are going to replace our design that was there. We're going to start. In this lesson, you'll learn how layers work together to create the design of your dreams. To get started, you'll select 1 image from a collection created for this paper lesson. So if you did the vinyl lesson, you know. If you don't, we'll go over it again. You're going to search the image library to find the image collection we want. Enter search term exactly as appears below, paper lesson 4. The number, not the word, no spaces. Okay? To help narrow down our search to only show images with multiple layers, click the layers filter and then select multi. Now if you're noticing down here, right down here, it's kind of giving you the cliff notes of it while giving you more detail up here. So if you feel like you've already done like a couple lessons and you're like, I don't need all those details, I can use that bottom. Feel free to do that too. Okay, so you're going to choose your favorite. They chose a leaf. If it has the A, it's free with access. If it doesn't, then it might be free for everyone. Select image, add to canvas. Your image choice lands on the canvas as 2 different colors. However, notice the layers panel on the right. To make the leaf even more colorful, click the eye icon next to layer 3. It's stunning with 3 layers of color. Let's make it. So we're going to choose multiple ways this time. This project calls for 2 different material types, cardstock and smart paper sticker cardstock. Cardstock requires a mat, smart paper does not. So we're going to choose multiple ways as the option for cutting. Since you are making 3 unique cuts, notice there are 3 distinct steps, 1 for each layer and color. By default, you'll see a drop down with cutting and loading options for layer 1. Layer 1 uses cardstock, which requires the use of a machine mat, the blue light grip mat. To prepare the second layer of your design to cut, first click on it. This click reveals cutting and loading options. Layer 2 uses smart paper, no mat needed. And now click on the third layer of your design to edit your load type. Layer 3 also uses smart paper, so no mat needed. So that's how you set each type. We'll go over all of this, so if I'm going a little too fast, don't worry. You're ready to start cutting. To start with layer 1, make sure it is selected. Continue. Medium cardstock for your first material. You're going to put your cardstock on your mat, smooth it, load it, cut it, unload it. Okay, so for your second cut, now if you've noticed this little, actually this is what we're going to do because I think it will be good to show you guys. This little icon travels with us all the way to our cut menu. So okay, I'm going to show you. So we don't have to do each step. I don't have to go through all of this. We can do this. Okay, so paper lesson 4. And then we're going to go to layers and we're going to click multi. I know that they did a leaf. What am I going to do? I like this butterfly. I think that's pretty. So we're going to do the butterfly. Add to canvas. Okay, now we're going to unhide layer 3. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, so now remember, layer 1, which is our solid base layer, is regular cardstock. Now layers 2 and 3 are the smart paper sticker cardstock because it already has the adhesive on the back, so we don't need to do any gluing, which is amazing. Okay, so we're going to click make it. Remember, we're going to click multiple ways. So layer 1 requires a mat, and that's already set. Layer 2 will be without a mat. Layer 3 will also be without a mat. So we're going to click continue. It's going to find my machine. We're going to start with medium cardstock, and we are going to do my more pressure. And I'm not going to click, where'd it go? Okay, so if you watched the vinyl lesson, there is an option to click. Actually, it will probably come up for my next one, so let's wait for that. Okay, so I'm going to pull out all my materials and decide which colors I want to use for my pretty butterfly. Okay, I'm going to do blue, white, and this pretty teal color. I know I'm doing different colors than what they did, but that's the best part about it. You can do whatever you want. So we're going to go back to my camera. Okay. So we can do whatever we want. So we are going to line up this paper, smooth side up, textured side down. And you'll notice I haven't used my brayer. And again, because my mat is still quite sticky, so I don't feel I need it as much, but even if your mat's really sticky and new, you can still use it. It's absolutely not going to hurt. Oop, I didn't move my machine. I caught it quick. See, guys? You gotta pay attention. Okay, so we've got this. And then we're gonna click it. So once this cuts, I'm going to take it off the mat, and then I'll head back to Design Space to show you guys when you select your material. The reason that box did not come up that you can check to remember the same material is because my machine knows that I'm using a mat for this, and the next two are without a mat. So my machine said, hey, you can't use the same material on your mat as you do without a mat. So that's why that option didn't come up. But because I have two more layers to cut and both of them are matless, that option should come up. So I'll go back to Design Space to show you guys how we're going to switch our material and do that. Okay. Now I don't need my mat. That can go aside. And I try to flip this over and keep this, I'm going to set this aside, but right side up so I don't get my layers confused. Or the position of my layers confused. Okay, so we're going to quickly go back to Design Space. Okay, so Smart Paper Sticker Cardstock is favorited because, again, one of my favorites. Now that little Remember Material Settings box came up. I am going to add more pressure for these also. And then I'm going to decide, if you hover over it, it brings it up big so you can see which layer is which. And I'm going to decide which layer is my top layer. Okay, so I'm going to do the blue and then the white. We'll just match it up. I'll go back to my camera. Now, because this does not require a mat, I don't need my mat. We're just going to line it up under those little guides there, and we're going to load it. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention since I've been using a mat, but you're going to see how much faster this cuts without a mat because it's the Smart material. So just kind of try and pay attention. You can hear it too. It goes faster. Once it starts cutting, I'll stop talking for a second. You guys can hear it. Like, you can actually hear it go faster. It sounds different than when you're cutting with a mat. And I forget until I use it. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I can hear it. So then what we'll do, like we did with the vinyl, is we'll cut this down, and then I will start kind of reading it as the white layer is cutting. Now remember, I did the save material selection for this. I did want to show you guys in Design Space. Okay. We'll go back to Design Space. Actually, go back to Design Space while this is cutting. You don't need to watch it cut. You know what that looks like. Okay, so we're going to pull this up. Remember, select Smart Paper Sticker Cardstock for layer 2. and it's going to tell you to load it, cut it, unload it. So you can pull this back up on your cut screen. And this is what I wanted to show you guys. This is kind of why I stopped and went back, is because I wanted to show you guys how you can pull the learning plan up and it still goes step by step with you. Okay, so the third final cut, also smart paper sticker cardstock. We're going to load, unload, load, cut, unload. Okay, so then we'll do this. It's going to show you how to take your mat off, and then we're going to pause that and we'll come back to it for the smart paper sticker cardstock part. That is like a mouthful, and I'm already not good with my words today, so we're going to load that one, and we'll go back here. Okay, so I'm going to cut it down while that's cutting and show you guys. I gotta push the cut button, the play button. That would help, huh? Now, I'm not sure how Cricut's going to recommend you do it. So I'm going to show you guys, and then we'll see what the learning plan says. I'm just going to kind of bend it. You can see how like well it cut. So I'm just going to bend it and remove all of these inside pieces here. And like I do with my vinyl, I put the excess just on the outside that we're going to weed and throw away anyway, because then it's just all, I can just take it all off, throw it in the trash, and I'm done. Just wonderful. Okay. Start on this side. So I'm just kind of bending as I go around, not really, because we don't want to bend the paper, the design. You can also use your weeding tool for this, but because this is like stiffer, because it's already got the adhesive on the back, it's easy to just kind of peel the design off here, and it cut through perfectly, so we have no issues. I use this material a lot. It is so convenient to just have it. I'll stick it to my skin so you can see. It's just so convenient that it's already adhesive on the back, especially if you're working with like tiny designs. This is amazing because you just weed out those like small pieces, but it's already adhesive, so it's easy to transfer. There's no gluing. I honestly should test out some cut settings on my like Explore machines, my Explorer 2, and see if I can find a good setting so y'all can cut this with a mat, because everyone should use this material. It's amazing. Okay, and then I will just kind of separate the back here. Carefully. Okay, and so you can see like that adhesive on the back. Just toss it. Okay, we'll do the same with the white layer, but yeah, this is for sure like my favorite, one of my most used materials, because it's by far like, it's just so amazing. I did birthday banners with it, and I can't even tell you how easy it was to just like cut all of the, you know, the happy birthday whatever, whoever's name it was, and just stick it on like the pennant. Oh my gosh, it was so easy. I just lined everything up and like stuck. I was done so quickly. It's really just so nice and convenient to be able to have that adhesive already on the back. I love glue, don't get me wrong, I love adhesives. If you have taken any of the Cricut Live workshops and you have taken one with Coach Danny in the card class, Danny loves his adhesives, and every time he talks about it, I was like, oh, you make me love adhesives more and more. Just different types of glue and different tape runners and all of that stuff. It's all so fun to me. I feel like if you're a paper crafter, you totally know what I'm saying. If you're not a paper crafter yet and you become one, you're going to come back to me and you'll be like, hey Katie, I watched your tutorial, and you're like, yeah, adhesives. If you're a paper crafter, you're going to get it. And I get it now. You will. They're amazing to just go and look. I hope Danny watches this video and laughs at me, because we always joke around in the workshops about it. But yeah, paper adhesives are amazing. You have different ones with like fine point tips for like the small pieces, and you know, tape runners and liquid glues, and you know, glues that are blue and they dry clear. It's just so many different amazing things, but this avoids all of that, which is just wonderful. I've got, see this piece here, I didn't need a weeding tool, but you could have, like, if you saw how I peeled off that layer and the adhesive layer was still down, you could have used your weeding tool to get that up, but I didn't need to. So I'm just kind of bend. I'm sitting here reading this and I'm like, bend and snap like Legally Blonde. And I don't know if anybody else thought of that beforehand, but if you did, we're laughing together. Okay, so we're almost done. I'll weed the excess away, and then we'll go back to Design Space and finish walking through the plan. And then remember, I cut my blue layer the same as the blue layer on screen, and this layer, I should have changed it to white on my canvas, but since we only have 3 layers, it's okay that I didn't. I'll remember which layer is which, because the other layers I know. Okay, so you can see again, I just pulled off that. Okay, so now we'll peel this back. And so you can see how all of those weeded pieces came off with my, and I just do this. It's like the easiest clean up. So I love weeding this way. Okay, so I have all 3 of my layers here. We're going to go back in Design Space to our learning plan and see what we do next. Okay, so we're going to click Done, because it will bring us back to our canvas. So we're going to pull up our learning plan. Okay, so for layer 2, the middle color of your design, use your fingers to peel your cut from your liner. If any unwanted pieces remain, use your fingers to remove. Oh, so see, what they did was far easier than what I did. So you can see they still had a couple pieces stuck in there, and they're just, you can use your weeding tool to like poke them out. But that's, I probably would have saved myself a lot of time, huh? Oh well. Well, now you know 2 ways. Place this freshly cut sticker on top of your cardstock cut. Smooth with a brayer or clean dry hands if needed. So stick sticker on cardstock cut. For layer 3, peel cut from liner. If any unwanted pieces remain, use your fingers to remove. Position this cut as the final layer of your design. Smooth with a brayer or clean dry hands if needed. Okay, and now you're done. Okay, so what I'm going to do is come back to my camera. So my teal layer, I'm going to change this quickly to show you guys. My teal layer was that green one. Now I'm going to click green. It's not quite teal, so if I do the advanced option here, I can kind of make that a little more. Whatever. I'm not getting as close as I want. And then this layer I kept blue, and this layer I changed to white. Oh, that's really pretty. Oh, good. It's always exciting when it works out the way you want it to. Okay, so we'll go back to my camera. So this blue layer here, I'm going to peel off. Now this Smart Sticker Paper cardstock is a little bit thicker, so it's easier to kind of hold. But I'm going to give you the tip that I use when layering adhesive vinyl, parchment paper, or baking paper if you're not in the US. So what we're going to do is, in case you didn't watch my vinyl video, we'll go over it again. Parchment paper is non-stick, so this is like not really stuck on there, it's just kind of hanging out. So what we do is take just a tiny bit of our design that's not like that adhesive, that is just a tiny bit, that's not on the parchment paper, and we're going to use, they're going to line this up without sticking anything down. Now the parchment paper is see-through. I know it can be hard to see like on my darker working surface, so sometimes I'll put like a piece of copy paper behind it so I can see, but we're just lining up those top areas where the adhesive still was. Okay, and and then we're going to press it down. I'm going to pull it up so you guys can see how I did. It's not perfectly lined up, but that's okay. So what we'll do is we'll unstick it. That's why we only put a tiny bit, because it gives us the maneuverability to unstick it and move it around. So you can see that's perfect. And then what we'll do is we'll pull this design up a little bit, make sure our piece is still stuck down to our first layer. We're going to pull that parchment paper out, and we're going to stick this down, and it's perfectly lined up. And then we can do the same. So you can pull this, remove the back, remove it from the back like we did with our vinyl. And I noticed that this little guy didn't come out. So sometimes that helps too, to do it from the back, because you see those cut lines. You'll notice you missed something. And then again, just a tiny little top part of our parchment paper. And then we're going to line everything up. And this is really, really helpful. And you do have kind of like the guide from your other layers. Oops. Like the holes that were cut out and the layers below it, that will help you line it up too. So for this particular design, that will also help. But then again, we'll go over to your back. You can see if it's lined up. That's good. So stick it down well so it's good. And then we're going to pick it up, pull that parchment paper out, set it down, and now it's perfectly layered. And then like they said, if you want, you can use the brayer to just go over it carefully and make sure all the layers are adhered well. And we are done with that one. Okay, so we're going to go back to Design Space and see what's next. Okay, so we can exit out of our learning plan, or exit to the learning plan. Exit out of that lesson, go back to paper. So in this one, we're going to use a Cricut pen and scoring tool to make and assemble a 3D paper project. I love 3D projects. Okay, so a sheet of cardstock, the pen, and the scoring stylus are all things we need. It came with all of that for us, so you don't need anything else. That's why the learning kits are amazing, because it has everything that you need. Okay, so in this lesson, you'll learn how to score a paper project and use a Cricut pen to personalize the design. We pre-populated the canvas with a design that will fold into a box. How cute. Start by changing the font. First, select the Boxed with Love text box. To preview fonts, use the font drop down. Okay, so Cricut Access are free. We are going to select Alyssa Stencil Script. Again, I showed you guys earlier how we can uncheck Kern and filter to free, and then Alyssa Stencil font doesn't appear to be free. Okay, so we'll pick what I like. Just checking quickly to make sure I didn't miss it. Okay, I like the Quinn type font, so that's what I'm going to select. All right. If necessary, drag and move the text box so it looks like what's pictured above, so it looks, you know. Now, confirm your text box is selected, then use the operation drop down to select pen. So because I chose a font that has only a writing style, it automatically defaulted to pen, but you'll go here and you'll select pen. And then you can choose your pen color. So I'm actually going to use the 0.8 glitter gel pen that it came with, and that's silver. So you can use this little filter here to choose your pen and then the color. I just liked that. I thought it was cute, so that's what we'll do. So it's telling you to use black. I'm changing it up. Since we were using a pen, your style also has to be set to writing. Now the only option that I have here is writing because QuinType is a writing style font. So that's why I only have that option. Okay, and then we'll click next. The dashed lines are your score lines. So that's where it's going to make that crease so that we can like fold that up easily. Okay, so then to lock everything in place, we'll select it all and attach. Now I'm going to set the heart and swirl is already set to pen, so I'm going to change it to the silver to match the silver glitter to match my design. So I'm going to move my design up a little bit to make sure everything. Okay, so everything looks good, everything matches. So you can drag a box around here with your mouse or your finger. If you're on a mobile device, you can use the shift key to select everything here, or since we're doing it all, I'm going to select all and attach because we're doing it all. Okay, so to lock everything in place, select everything on the canvas and attach. We're going to make it. We are going to, it's with cardstock, and because there's a score line, it's on a mat. That's your only option. Medium cardstock. So if you have a Cricut Maker 3, you'll click Edit Tools and then Scoring Stylus. If you have a Cricut Explorer 3, you only have the option for the stylus, so it will default to that. Okay, now you're going to load the stylus into Scoring Clamp A. Okay, I'm going to walk through this so I don't have to keep going back and forth. From the top left corner, okay, so put your cardstock on the mat, load it, cut, unload, and then, let's see. There we go. So after it's done scoring, without unloading the mat, you're going to remove the scoring stylus and then load the pen in. Push until you feel a subtle click. You'll hear it click. I'll go over it with you, which confirms the pen is properly seated. And then you'll press the go button again. You're not unloading your mat or anything like that. It's just telling you to switch out tools. It will pop up on your screen and tell you to switch out the tools, so you'll know. So then you press go. It's going to do your cut now because before it was scoring, then it was drawing, and then now it's cutting. So you unload your mat, remove your design from your mat, and then you're going to use the score lines as your guide to make your folds. So you just fold on the score lines and put those tabs at the top over it. Insert the 2 round ends into the slots at the top. It's very easy. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. You created a 3D box. It's so cute. I love that. Okay, so we'll minimize this and we will make our cut. Okay, so you can see it didn't even come up to ask me if I wanted on a mat or without a mat, and that's because of the scoring tool. So over here is the order of operations that is, this is always going to be what it does first. It's going to score, write with your pen, and then cut. So 1, 2, 3 in that order. So always check there if you're unsure of what order it's going to go in. It will also tell you elsewhere, but just so you know. Alrighty, so I have that light pink color cardstock. I'm going to do that. We're going to pick medium cardstock. And we're going to click more pressure. So it's telling me to load my silver pen and not my scoring stylus. That's why. Because, okay, so this is good to know. Because I have the Maker 3, so what it's saying is normally I would use the scoring wheel, which goes in clamp B. So you'll see how that will change when I change this to the scoring stylus. Let me show you again. Okay, edit tools right here. Scoring stylus, apply. So now it's going to do my stylus and then coming up silver 0.8 pen. I'm going to switch over to my camera. Okay, so I'm going to pull my machine closer. I'm going to load my stylus. You'll see this little arrow right here. That's to indicate it's going towards the front of your machine. You're going to open your clamp. We're going to push it in. You're going to hear it click. Hear that click, and we're going to close clamp A. We are going to load our mat. We have our load button blinking. So it's going to do our scoring. which is pretty quick. And then it will stop and let us know that we need to put in our pen. Now, a little tip I like to give for the pens, especially when they're new or if you haven't used them in a while, take a scrap piece of paper. Can you guys see me? Okay. And just scribble on it. Make sure that ink is flowing nicely. Okay? Make sure we're good. So I already pressed the play button, so it's going to score. And then you can put this like up here. If you're using an iPad or a tablet to use Design Space, then it's up here, and you might not have that available, but a lot of times I'll put stuff up there if it's like small enough and it can fit. Okay, so now you'll notice it stopped. My mat's still in there like that, and my play button is going. So I'm going to show you quickly what will show up on Design Space. Load your silver pen and then press go to resume. So that's exactly what's going to come up on your canvas. So if you're unsure, always look there. So we're going to open clamp A, pull that out. The pen has this little like indicator instead of like the arrow. We're going to listen for that click. Okay, close clamp A, and we're going to let it go. It's going to do the writing, and then it's going to automatically just go into the cutting. It's not going to stop like it did to switch our clamp A out, because there's nothing else to switch out. Our blade's already in, so it will slide over to detect it and say, okay, you have the right blade, like, let's go. And I use the glitter pen just because it's really pretty. I really like the glitter ones. Let me see. I use the glitter gel pens, the new ones recently. Let's see if you can see while this is cutting. You see all that glitter? It's so pretty. So I use that because it's pretty. And I can use these for this little box for like my kids' teachers, for whatever I give them for like a Christmas gift or whatever. Or I can save this because it's pink and silver. I can save it for like Valentine's Day when I send in little goodies, and I can just put in like little Hershey Kisses or something cute to go with their gift, just like a little accent. Okay, so what I do first, unload my mat, push this back. I'm going to take out my pen, put the cap back on, and put it tip down in my accessories so it doesn't dry out. First thing, okay? And then I'm going to peel my design off. That was perfect. I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to take off my excess material. Now, people save scraps in all different forms. I have a teacher friend she's a kindergarten teacher, so she does lots of like cutting and stuff. So this is like a perfect scrap for her because it's like those little pieces, whereas I may not use them. So I actually have a little section in my craft room, and I call it Libby's Scraps. And that's where I put all of those for her. Okay, so we are going to fold, and I do like, so these two, and then I'll do these two. And then there is a score line up at the top for that. Now, it's a little bit harder to see the line on that side, but I can see it on this side, so you can fold that way. In person, I can see it really well, so that's why I'm doing it from this side, but it is harder to see on camera, especially because this is a light pink. So then we'll just put these together, and we will go, I do the back, and then I do the front, because if I get a little gift like this, I'm going to open it from the front first. So I know it just seems like a silly thing, but these are the things that I think now. Okay, let's see if you can see that glitter. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so we'll set that aside for the teachers. We will head back to Design Space for our last lesson, and we're going to make a card with our card mat, and it's awesome, and I love it. Okay, so our learning plan, exit to learning plan, back down to paper, and lesson 6, make an insert card. So you need your 2x2 card mat and your insert cards. So begin. We're going to replace, we don't need to save that. And then we're going to make a card. Okay, in this lesson you'll make a Cricut insert card with the Cricut card mat 2x2. We've pre-populated the canvas with a design that you can give to someone right away. It says congrats, perfect. Okay. With this card mat, you can make up to 4 cards at once. We'll start with just 1. So you'll select on card mat and then confirm. On the prepare screen, choose your card size. Cricut cards come in different sizes, colors, and styles. The learning kit includes R20 insert cards. If using a different card size, check packaging to confirm size. You can also adjust project copies to make more of one design, or move the one you have to any slot on the mat. For practice, drag the design to the upper right. So this is just to get you familiar with how it all works. Perfect for a new job, graduation, or just because, let's make it. For your material type, insert cards for this lesson doesn't appear under popular or favorites. Click browse on materials and search for it. So search and select insert card, that's your material type. Remove both protective covers from the mat. Now this is important because if that protective cover comes off, it can roll up around your rollers. So remove both. Align card to top left corner of the top right panel. Push card until it's flush with the top of the panel. Then align insert fold of card against plastic divider. Press front of card into adhesive on mat. To avoid track marks on your cards, move the machine's star wheels to the center of the rail. Make sure all of them align with the middle column of the card mat. Now I'll show you a tip on how to do that and make sure it's all aligned well. So we're going to load it, cut, unload. Okay, so gently separate the mat from the front of the card. If any unwanted pieces remain, use your fingers to remove. If any remnant paper cuts remain on mat, you can use a scraper or spatula tool to remove them, just like we have on our previous mats. Choose your favorite insert. We're using the holographic insert, which is stunning if you haven't used it. It's like my favorite. Tuck it into each corner into corresponding card notches. Put the protective sheets back on, and now you have your card. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so we're going to click make it. So on the card mat, and R20 is already selected for us, but you can do R30, R40, and you'll notice how the size of the design changes to fit those bigger cards. And you can see how that blue area is also changing because it's filling up more of your card mat. Okay, so we've got R20. So you can move it to different mat screens, and if you want to cut, like say I wanted to make 4 of these. So notice I put this one like off. It snaps it into place. So say I wanted to make 2 of these, I can press 2 and click apply, and it automatically populates 2. Say I only want to cut like on the left side, I can move this one over here. Again, if I don't put it exactly lined up, it snaps it there for me. I'm only going to do 1 card today. Okay, so it's already ready for us to go. We'll click continue. It's going to find my machine. And then we are going to grab my card mat out of the box. Okay, and then insert cards. We're going to browse on materials. You can just type in, search all materials, just type in insert. To me, that's the fastest, easiest way to find it. Insert card, card stock. And then I, again, add more pressure. We'll go over to my camera so we can show you guys how to do this. Okay, so this is our last lesson, guys. We're going to make the cutest little cards. I'm so excited for these. I love these insert cards. They are fantastic. Okay, so remember we had our little insert cards from the first project. So I'm going to take these out quickly and I'll show you guys. These were the 4 colors that we had. I really like this pink. This is really pretty. With the holographic, I'm going to pick this green. And I have a holographic and I have an envelope. I always take out everything that I need and put everything else aside before I start, because I make sure I have all my envelopes, and sometimes I do like different size cards. You can only do 4 of the same size card on one mat, but like if I loaded up another mat and had it ready to go, I can do different size cards. And I really don't like to get everything all mixed up, so I always pull out everything I need and keep it in a pile together. Okay, so we're going to take our insert card. We put it on this side. I know it was on this side in the example. This is where I left mine. So I'm going to line it up, push to the top, make sure, and then we are going to, you can use your brayer for this too. Now those star wheels, here's what I like to do, okay? I'm going to move them towards the center as much as I can. Now, depending on your machine, they may not be that easy to move. Put in a little elbow grease. Just go slowly and carefully. And now I'm going to line them up at the center of my mat here before I load it. Now, you can always load it and realize that they're not right, but this just saves me the time by doing that. Okay? And even here, I can see I could move it over this side a little bit more. And you want it basically lined up with this strip here. And that's so these wheels don't leave that impression on them on the card, which is what will happen if it goes over. And then I'll just move my wheels back. So I have them on 2 on each side from a different project I was doing. That's how I've been cutting. Move my machine. But normally you have like 1, 2, 3, 4 already. You can see how it's set up in the picture. If you forget, kind of gives you an idea. But this is going to go through and cut. Now the great part about the insert cards and like this design is that it's keeping all those pieces kind of attached, and then we'll just put that pretty insert piece back there and slide it in, and then you have that really pretty look come through. And again, no gluing. So we didn't do any gluing. I did how many paper projects today? This will be our 6th paper project, and I didn't even pull out a bottle of glue or a double-sided tape runner or anything. And that's kind of incredible. I do love my glue though, but this is pretty incredible. So this is great to show you different things that we can do, the different materials, the variety of materials offered, all of that. Okay. Now, a lot of people I hear say, I'm going to do this first. I'm going to put this one back. Okay. Line it up and put it back. Just to reduce the amount of stickiness. I'm going to move my star wheels back too. Just to reduce the amount of stickiness that I'm putting on my mat. My cat climbs up here all the time, so I just want to make sure if there's any hair, we're protecting as much of that as we can. And we are going to flip our mat over and we are going to remove the card. I do see a lot of people say, oh, it's so sticky. It is sticky. It's making sure that your materials are adhered well to your mat. That's what you want. You want to make sure they're adhered well to your mat. So we're just going to really carefully take this off. I'm not super sure what parts of the design are supposed to come off and what aren't. So I'm going to kind of peek my head back here and take a look as I do this. And you want to pull like straight back. You don't want to do kind of at an angle, because you'll do what I just did and rip it a little bit in that corner, which is fine. But that's what you want to just go straight back. Okay, so I did have like a few of the insert corner little pieces still stick in, so I'm just pulling those out. And then we've got this part of the A still in there, and it looks like I ripped it there too. So I should have peeked under there sooner, but just go slowly and carefully. This is why slow and steady wins the race, guys. And then we've got our little scraper here. Now I go from the bottom up because you do have your little, like, where it lifts up to put your card in, and I don't want those to get stuck there. So I just do it this way. So that way everything's kind of going off of my mat and onto my work surface or into my trash can or on the floor, which is more often than not what happens, and we just vacuum. And that is okay. So we'll go ahead and we'll take our insert here. I like to do the top. I'm kind of bend it a little bit. And then this piece, we're going to bend these both like at the same time and slide them in there. Now you have like this perfect little card. Like, look at that's so, that holographic though, guys. Woo. And then you have your envelope already sized, so you can write your sentiment inside, slip it in, and you're done. So if you guys have any questions, please, please, please let me know, and I will answer them for you.